happy endings to love stories or tragedies?
Tragedies, because I think you remember them much more if they're tragedies. And it's just like I've said this before, it's a first love thing, right? You talk about your first love only because that first love never materialized, right? At some point, he or she is gone away.
Maybe that's why there's a lot of nostalgia
Yeah, and
associated.
that is etched in your head, and then you move on. That's why you call it your first love. Very rarely you end up with the first love and you take it forward and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm a sucker for letting the audience sort of feel that moment at the end of the
Right.
film.
Okay.
Feel that pain.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you to choose between Rahman or Ilayaraja, obviously. Based on your mood, who would you listen to generally? I mean, when you're feeling happy, do you make those sort of associations? Because I have a lot of people often telling me that when they're particularly sad or whatever, they find that an Ilayaraja is better suited to. Do you make that sort of distinction?
Yes. I think it's also because in 87, 85, 86, 87, when I was in 8, 9, and 10, and then 8, 8, 9, it was only Raja Sir's music at that point. I grew up on that. Apart from lots of the world classics and the popular numbers and a lot of Hindi music and Nausha, the SD Bob and all that, I used to listen to everything.
I see.
But I always went back to Ilayaraja at every point because it started at that point for me. So I'm still rooted to that music. So even now, my reference points are all Ilayaraja songs and stuff like that. You can ask me about any Rahman number and I will tell you.
So I should probably have asked you if you like Ilayaraja or Rahman better. You would have said Ilayaraja, I'm guessing.
I would have said Ilayaraja.
Yeah.
I would have said Ilayaraja because it's only because I'm sure if you ask Rahman also he'd say the same thing.
Right.
I'm not being totally correct here again. I don't need to. It's just that I've grown up on that music. So my reference points, my going back, my memories like food, right?
Yeah.
You taste something and you remember the taste from earlier.
Definitely.
So for me, everything about music is the music from the 80s, 80s, and then going back listen to whatever he had made before that, and then read about him and look at his influences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when I got to interact with him also, I only asked him about music from that time.
Okay. Okay.
Yenini Pundilave, Kodika Lakatre, and songs that made him sing, made him play.
Right.
One fanboy moment.
Was he very happy to talk about
He
all
was.
of
I think he was.
Okay.
He's always a little conservative, but he was happy to talk about it. And I think those interactions on stage in front of a public audience and stuff like that went off really well. And I still cherish them. I know he does too.
Yeah. That, not everybody gets the opportunity to meet with their childhood hero, right?
No, for me it's worked with.
Let alone work with them.
A couple of people like that. Kamal sir was one for me.
Okay.
Really, ate up all his films, so to say. That was my diet those days.
Right.
It reached the high at Nayagan and I went back to watch all those films again. And then crazily for all those films released after that. First day, first show in college, out there, buying tickets, getting tickets for everybody, talking about these films 10, 15 days from now.
Yeah.
Even the disappointing ones, even the good ones and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So to get to work with him when the phone call came, narrate to him, and then to direct him was like a unbelievable moment. Which I think somebody only in this industry will understand.
Yeah. Having said that, are you how happy are you with Ilayaraja as a film that you did with Kamal?
I was really happy. I don't know if he thinks the same.
Okay.
I
Right.
was really happy with it because I want to treat him a certain way, and we treated him that way only.
Right.
And I can safely say, and that was his biggest film before the Saga.
Right. Okay. Moving on to love at first sight, or love through conversations.
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
People will ask me, how does a love at first sight happen?
Yeah.
I mean, it always does. Right? It can happen for a lot of people. It's happened with me also. And then there are moments in my life also. There's love that happen over conversations, over being together, and
See, there are times when you meet a girl, you're not particularly immediately smitten, as many heroes in your films are. You get to talking to her. Even vice versa. I mean, sometimes women look so pretty. You meet them, you talk to them, and it's gone.
with the guys also.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's not particular to one gender, obviously. So you're saying that it's possible to have a bit of both.
Definitely.
Okay. Did you watch both Puli and Veda?
I watched Vedana.
Okay. Right.
I watched Vedana. I know what the idea was and stuff like that. I didn't see Puli, but I think by the time it came out, we were also in the middle of a lot of things that they said, no kids film and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of even the Baahubali kind of film. I'm saying. For me,
Really?
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's got to be beyond that. Something that I know and understand.
Oh, you don't immediately relate to fantasy?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
For me, Baahubali worked because of the grandeur, and I understood why people like it. I watched on the IMAX screen at Hyderabad, when we were there, and I know why it worked. But I'm a little away from that. Just like how Mr. Rajmouli said he hates love stories. He told me,
Yeah, I watched that
so I'm not
conversation.
taking him on for this. I completely respect him and stuff, but it's just that for me, I still prefer.
Oh, you can't relate to your sort of films, you can't relate to his sort of films.
No, not all his films, but
Yeah.
definitely not that kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
So Vedalam, I know why it works and why people like see Ajith sir and stuff like
But
that.
didn't do anything for you.
No, I'd still make a Yenayar in any day with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like the man and he's super to work with and stuff like that. But I cannot do Vedalam. I'd probably watch it first day, first show and appreciate it only because I know the thought that went behind it. They want a Diwali release and it has to be fun and people have to clap. Tungavaram is not a Deepavali film actually.
True.
You know what I'm saying? That buzz, that hysteria and all that. They
Yeah.
Maganis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wrote it like that. There was, a song to put and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Tungavaram was more inside a club and, I'd probably watch it, on Boxing Day, post-Christmas or something like that.
Okay, right.
But Vedalam, I understand why, that euphoria and everything like that.
Yeah, the mass hysteria when
If you ask me, I actually make an error.
you would. Okay. Okay, let's do a different thing now. Let's just say the questions are along the lines of if you could only do something, then what would you do? If you could only talk one language, which language would you choose to speak for the rest of your life?
Tamil.
If you could only stay in one city in all of the world, no need to be romanticizing Chennai unnecessarily.
No, completely. I've said this before.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're going to give me a post or anything like that saying it. But 5 days, 6 days out of the city, and I'm a moving bird. I want to come back.
What about the city though?
I think it's just like food and it's just like Ilayaraja
Yeah.
and books and everything.
Yeah.
It's because you're born here, you're brought up here, you went to school here, you know the girls from here.
Yeah.
You romanticize the city actually within yourself. I've even Ananagar, the streets of Ananagar were flooded even at that time. But we still waded through and liked it.
Oh, you grew up there?
Yeah, I grew up there. We played cricket on the streets.
Okay.
And I'm
You could afford to back then, I'm guessing.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. So even now, I'm imploring my kids to go out and play cricket in the streets and sort of relive what all I did at that point.
Okay.
So, and for me, Chennai is home, Chennai is mom, Chennai is family and stuff like that. So there's no question about being anywhere else.
Right.
If you give me a choice, I'd probably go to Ottapalam for a bit in Kerala and just be around there for 4 5 days.
And then
But
come
I
back and
still
spend the
miss
rest of the month here. Assuming you're only allowed to make one more film in your career, would you make a love story or would you do unbelievably something different with absolute disregard for its success?
Chennai.
Really? Okay. Okay. So that's in the pipeline for shelf for the future sometime.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can never do away with the script that you wrote, and it was written with a lot of passion and stuff like that. And I'm hoping some actor will understand and come on board. It needs a little budget.
Do you still pitch that story to people though? I mean, I'm guessing that there's a lot of that that needs to happen.
Wherever I go,
Really?
I mean the film industry.
Yeah.
If I get to spend 10 minutes with them and they ask me about the stuff that I have, my first pitch is
Why do you suppose people aren't really taking to it yet?
I don't quite agree with that because other than Surya,
Yeah.
most of the people who heard it said, "Wow, really nice."
I see. Okay.
It's just that I need the budget. I need somebody like a Surya to come on board because I
Okay.
need money to shoot that film. Or something.
Okay. Okay. If you could change one thing about your work as a director, what would you, if you would?
I'd probably keep the heroines alive.
Okay. Right. Fair enough. Is there a sequel for Enna Irnal anytime? Ever?
Yeah, it's written. It's being written.
It's
As
being
we
written.
speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's about halfway through on my laptop right now.
Okay. And has Ajith given you reason to be optimistic about doing the film with him?
No, he doesn't need to, right? I know as soon as I finish it,
Yeah.
even if he doesn't want to meet me, I'll be standing outside his gates hoping to meet him.
Brilliant.
And if he gives me like 1.5 hours to narrate it, I will narrate it. And this time it's a full bounce. Unlike the last time, the climax was brilliant.
I remember that conversation. Yes.
So this time I will give him a full bounce script and then hopefully he will like it.
Brilliant.